Physics Blender. I love 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 Physics Blender. Subscribe for more videos.
Let's continue our quiz, checking your answers. We have question 17. We have a siren is emitting a sound. As time passes, the sound becomes louder and higher in pitch. Again, guys, we have two features. We have two properties very important to describe sound waves. We have if you have high pitch or low pitch sound, so high or low pitch depends on frequency. Okay, if you have quiet or loud sound, this feature depends on amplitude. So the question is asking you about amplitude and frequency. Since you have louder sound, so it means greater amplitude. So the amplitude increases, right? You have higher pitch, also the frequency increases. So now it's clear that the correct choice you have is D. So the amplitude increasing and the frequency also is increasing. Let's move to question 18. Question 18, we have here one of the uses of echo in our daily life. We have here a pulse of sound is produced at the bottom of a boat, and you have the sound travels through water and is reflected from shoal of fish. This is how they can know if there is fish in this location or not. How far below? Because it will not be reflected. So sound here is not. It will not be reflected at sea bed. It will be reflected at this shoal of fish while it's moving. How far below the bottom of the boat you can find this shoal of fish? Okay, we will apply the equation we are using about speed of sound in water. Is equal to twice the distance. Here I will not write depth of the sea, no, the distance required and echo time. How long the sound reaches the boat again after 1.2 seconds. So it's the time taken for the sound to be reflected back after 1.2 seconds. When you substitute, so you have 2 times. The distance here is unknown. The speed of sound in water is given. Check that you have consistent units. When you rearrange, you will find that distance is equal to 1500 times 1.2 divided by 2. The answer is 900 meters. Is it clear? So the answer is B. Question 19 is very important also. Question 19, we have the speed of sound in air is 330 meters per second. The speed of ultraviolet waves in air is given, which is 300 million meters per second. Which row gives the frequency and speed of ultrasound? Okay, guys, let's revise the difference between ultraviolet and ultrasound. What's the difference? Okay, ultraviolet, it's one of the members of the electromagnetic spectrum. So they are transverse waves. They travel at the same speed of light in vacuum. They have high frequency. The prefix ultra means ultraviolet exceeding the frequency of violet. Okay? But ultrasound, they are longitudinal. So ultraviolet, they are transverse, electromagnetic. Okay? But ultrasound, they are longitudinal. And here, the frequency just exceeding the audible frequency for human hearing range. So the frequency for ultraviolet, it's exceeding, you know that the range for audible range 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Okay, so you can find ultrasound in this range which exceeds 20 kilohertz. So ultrasound, it's found here exceeding 20 kilohertz, more than the audible hearing range. So ultrasound should be more than audible hearing range. But still it has the same speed of sound. So when we are comparing between ultraviolet and ultrasound, its speed, it's not 300 million meter per second, so you have to exclude B and D. When you compare, you have to choose the frequency which is exceeding, like here, this is 40 kilohertz, exceeding the audible range. So the answer here is C. This question is challenging and is very important. Okay. The last question we have in our quiz today, question 20. We have two diagrams comparing here sound waves. Which sound ones? We have sound 1 and sound 2. Which one, if you compare these two graphs, sound waves as shown on the CRO, cathode ray oscilloscope, you will find that the first one, it has higher frequency. And how you compare higher frequency? Instead of counting waves, you will find that here the wavelength is shorter, here the wavelength is longer. Okay, so you will decide that or choose that this one, it has high frequency. Okay, this one, it has low frequency. And frequency, it's the reference for pitch. As we said earlier, that pitch depends on frequency. But what about amplitude? Amplitude, here we have the distance from the rest position to the crest. The distance from the rest position to the crest, it represents amplitude. So sound 1 and sound 2, they have same amplitude. So when you compare which one has higher pitch or lower pitch, so you will exclude A and B, and you compare that the one which has higher frequency is sound 1. So sound 2 has lower pitch than sound 1. So you choose, your correct answer is D. Is it clear?
Subscribe for more videos. I love Physics Blender. I love Physics Blender. I love Physics Blender. I love Physics Blender. I love Physics Blender.